Sir, recording.
Yes, I started recording. Okay. So already we have discussed the introduction part of that VLSI design and the course coverage and the module wise what you will learn and what you will study, both theory and practical. So I have discussed about that thing and some brief introduction about all these classes also I have given. So at least you will know the basic idea of what we will study in this throughout this course. So now formally we will start our course from now. So this is history of VLSI design and VLSI design flow. So what is the history about the VLSI design? How we are here now, from where we have started and we reach here with the Intel i9 or AMD Ryzen, all these things. Okay, we'll study about this. So this is the overview of this class. So first we will go through the historical things about this VLSI design. Okay, so how from a single transistor to a billion of transistor inside a chip evolved. So that thing we'll study. Okay. So next thing is the VLSI design methods. What are the methods generally used in industry to design a VLSI chip? Okay, whether it's a full custom or semi-custom, or it's a design phase or marketing or production phase. What are the methods generally used? We'll discuss about that. Okay, next thing, VLSI design flow. So this is very, very important for you guys and for the course perspective. So both analog design flow and digital design flow is there. So mostly we'll focus on the digital design flow because this course is mostly in the VLSI design, digital design. So we'll discuss a little bit about the analog design, and that's simple. So analog design flow is very simple, so you'll understand easily. But the digital design flow is a lot more complex. But here, in the though you are starting, so very basic digital design flow, I will tell you as it is in the book. So, so latter part we will discuss in more details. Actually, this digital design flow is really complex. The front end part is there, hard end, yeah, back end part is there. Inside the front end, lot of categories are there. In the back end also, the layout, verification, a lot of things are there. So we will discuss in detail later, but very basic things I will discuss here today. So next is design hierarchy. So what is design hierarchy? Means during the design phase, what is the hierarchy? What is the importance of this hierarchy? How it will be easy for designing if we maintain the hierarchy. So that thing we will discuss. Then next part is the regularity, modularity, and locality. This is also the design phase. So what is the regularity? What is modularity? Means modular design. What is the locality? Means local block level or in local interconnection. These things. Okay. Regularity means the similar things. So these things we'll discuss in this class today. Okay. So this is the history of VLSI design. So as it is mentioned, you can see in 1947, so around December 23, the first the transistor invented. Okay, so that was the BJT, bipolar junction transistor, invented by Dr. William Shockley, Dr. Barton in Bell Labs. Okay, so that was a germanium transistor, point contact transistor. This is the starting era of the semiconductor. Okay, so they have the lot of research they have done in this semiconductor. So after the vacuum tube, this is the first time the solid state transistor they have invented in the Bell Labs. So for this contribution, they all three shared the Nobel Prize in the year of 1956. So after that, the semiconductor era started. Then one after one, other things are also uh, mm, came to the picture. Okay. So next thing is the invention of the single transistor IC. So in the year of 1959, in Texas Instrument, Jack Kilby is the main architect of this single transistor IC. So that time he used a single transistor and 3 resistors and 1 capacitor. So make a package, and that is the first single transistor IC. Okay. So after 1 year, Robert Noyce, Fairchild Semiconductor, and the company name is Fairchild. He has also invented a IC. Okay, so after they have invented a IC, but in 2001, Jack Kilby got the Nobel Prize for this contribution. Okay, but in 1969, both Robert Noyce and Jack Kilby started the Intel Corporation. Now the Intel company, they have started, they have founded the Intel in 1969, Robert Noyce and Jack Kilby. Okay. So next invention of MOSFET. So in 1959, D. Kang and Martin Matala at Bell Labs invented the MOSFET. So in 1947, BJT was invented, but 1959 MOSFET. So that was the great greatest invention of this semiconductor era. Actually, now everything, every chip, you will see the MOSFET. Okay, so that's why after that in 1963, using that MOSFET, a single circuit means single gate inverter also designed or invented by Wanless and Shah in Fairchild Semiconductor. So this is from BJT to single transistor IC, then MOSFET, then single logic gate inverter. So this was the initial phase. Then for the first time in 1970, the first microprocessor Intel 4004. Okay, so came to the market. It was the chip contains 2300 MOS transistors, and the clock frequency is 740 kilohertz. Okay, so that time Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce was the main architect of this microprocessor. So after that, in 1978, a very large scale integration started. A chip came with more than 20,000 devices. Okay, so from that time, all the chips called very large scale integration, means VLSI chip. Okay, so after that, in every 2 years gap, means the transistor counts doubles. Okay, now it is the transistor count in a chip is some hundreds of billions transistor, but still we are saying it's VLSI because people are acquainted with these terms. Okay, so generally whether it's a ULSI or SLSI or SOC whatever, but still people are using that VLSI term. Okay, so this is the brief history of the semiconductor VLSI design. Okay, so how it is from single transistor to billion of the transistor in a single chip. So you can see the first BJT. Okay, so this is designed by that invented by Shaklee, Brattin, Wadin in Bell Labs. Okay, it is a point contact transistor that left. So this left one is that emitter. This is collector, and the bottom part is the base. Okay, this is first time. Now next in 1958, this is a single transistor IC. Okay, in Texas Instrument, Jack Kilby invented. So this is the transistor. Then 3 resistors are there, 1 capacitors are there. Okay, so this is the fast IC. See how it is showing the fast IC. Now it's the IC. You can see the chip. Okay. So next in 1970, this was the first SRAM. Okay, it's 256 byte, okay, to 56 bit SRAM. Okay, so you can see that 16 row and 16 column. Okay, this part, this part, and the first microprocessor Intel 404 invented in 1971. You can see the original microprocessor. So you can see the logo here, and you can see this is the logo. Okay, so here also you can see the Intel logo. Uh, 1 minute. So this is all about that history, means single transistor, then single transistor IC, then MOSFET, then logic gates, then SRAM, then microprocessor Intel, then VLSI chip. So this is all about the history. So next you can see the evolution of the complexity in IC. How the gate counts or transistor are increasing day by day. Okay, in VLSI chip. So you can see in 58, this is the single transistor IC. In that the number of gates count is less than one. Actually, that is a single transistor. There is no gate. Okay. So in 60, it's unit logic, one gate in that IC. And then 62 is a multifunction, means 2 to 20 numbers of IC was there. Sorry, gates were there. And then complex function IC, that is 1964, is less than 100, 20 to 100. And medium cell integration, MSI, generally we said the MSI is 900, I think it's 69. Okay, so 100 to 1000. Okay, so then large scale integration is 972, so less than 20,000. Okay, so in 1979 it is crossed 20,000 gate counts. So from that time, all are saying that it's VLSI. Okay, so after that SOC, system on chip, late 90s, the multiple IC. Generally SOC means is system on chip. Okay, system on chip means generally what happen in a board, PCB board, lot of IC, transistor, register, other things are there, but everything in a single die. If you put everything, means some different functions or different blocks, suppose power management block, RF, analog block, digital block, everything if you put in a single die, in single fabrication, then it is called SOC, means system on chip. One complete system inside a chip. Suppose you can say a FM radio. Okay, there is power management blocks are there, then RF part is there, then some audio amplifier is there. Okay, antenna part is there. Okay, so everything will be in a single die. You will design everything and you will fabricate. So that is a system on a chip, means complete system on a single die. So that is called SOC. Okay. Then system in package. System in package means it's not a single die. So different ICs are in a package. Means in packages in package. Okay, lot of different two, three types of IC in a single package. Okay, so that ICs are, it's not mandatory that all are in the same technology. It may be different technology, but different ICs packaged in a single package. That is system on package. Okay, but it is actually um, it's not on long, though some disadvantages there. But system on its chip is working fine still now. Okay. So these are the evolution of the complexity in IC. Okay. So now if you will see that Intel and AMD, so both are in the market. So you can see that duo, quad core, octa core, Okay, then some that you can see the versions i3, i5, i7, i9, and AMD Ryzen. Different versions are there. Okay, so these are the evolutions and complexity inside the IC, and how this VLSI industry grows. Actually, actually, why we are always means the chip size is going down. We are getting better performance, and the speed also very nice. This is the industry trends. People are actually demanding every portable devices, low power devices, and high speed, high performance devices. And also in semiconductor technology, it is possible. Okay, though it is possible, industry are going in that direction. People are demanding, so industry are making that product. So it is continuously growth. Okay, so it's high performance, low power, and wireless, etc. So if you see from 1970 to 2020, initially it was a mainframe computer. In 70s time, 80s is personal computer, and then around 2000s network computer. Now green chip. Okay, so green chip is nothing but that means for social cause actually, for environment purpose. It's green chip invented. Then you can see the consumer electronics. So you can see means everything in your home. Suppose whether it's AC or refrigerator or any microwave oven, everything is consumer electronics. Is ICs are required in that. Then portable computers, means laptop, tablet, everything. Then game also is another emerging field in 2010. Then data communication also, and multimedia means that audio processing, video processing, then text, graphics. Okay, then all these things, the multimedia, it is means though it is demanded, so that's why it is also a lot of chips come in this domain. Then automotive also, now every automotive means car, you will find hundreds of chips, hundreds of electronics inside this car. So it's more automotive. And then wireless cellular data communication, yes, mobile, this 3G, 4G, 5G, all these things are coming. This is very important. Then health means in the health sector, the cashless payment, all these things, health. The speech processing also is the one of the major things demanded. Then robot, now everything is doing by the robot. So this is the robot market now. So for that, a lot of VLSI chip is used. Everything is programmed in that chip also. And then video on demand. So now you can see that video on demand means that set-top box systems, you can demand your film or any video. You can get that by paying. So this thing, then bio chips also means lot of biosensors inside the chip. This thing can measure your you can monitor your genes, your enzyme, blood pressure, lot of things you can do in the it's biological things you can do through the biochips. It's very less low power devices, and it can implant in your body. It can sense all these activities, bioactivities inside your body. So these things are day by day people are demanding. So industry are actually producing these things, and market is growing. So that's why, though it is continuously growing due to the semiconductor technology. So it's ecosystem. Means people are demanding, industry are making these things, and it does technology also supporting. So that's why it's running perfectly. Okay, so in the bottom, you can see the initial it was large, centralized, and expensive. Okay, everything was a very large in size, and centralized it will put in a one place. You can't move, and expensive also. So now it's completely reverse. So it's a small and portable. Even if in your watch, you can you can see a lot of things. You can check so how much you can step. You can check the steps, heartbeats, or You can you can play songs, you can see videos, everything in a single watch. Okay, and the mobile divided, mobile is going to slim, and a lot of operations also added, and you can do everything in a mobile. It's not less than a computer now. In a mobile you can see the RAM size is it's like your mobile RAM is 8 RAM, but still your laptop is 4 GB RAM. Okay, so you can do in a small portable device, you can do everything. Okay, and distributed, it's actually distributed means lot of small devices you can do, you can take anywhere and inexpensive also. So in a less price you can get yeah, highly preferable products. Okay, so this is all about the industry trends. People are demanding, industry are making, and the technology supporting. So it's running fine. And next thing is what is this? So next thing is the advantage of IC with large number of functions. Okay. So what is the advantage of IC? So really, but by day by day, how we are getting the performance better than the previous. Okay, so less area, obviously, day by day the size of the chip decreasing. So though it's portable, so we can take and move anywhere. So this is less area volume and therefore compactness. Yes, and less power consumption. Though the size of the transistor less, so obviously the power consumption also less. So that's a battery life will be more. So if we'll charge one mobile, then it will at least 24 hour or 36 hour it will run without any problem. So this is the less power consumption. That's why this is the major advantage now. And less testing requirements at system level. Yeah, though everything inside a system, so only the known things will be tested. Otherwise, all internal things we don't need to test. Okay. And if it's in a board level, then everything we have to test whether it's working or not. But these things not required in a system level. Okay. Then higher reliability, yeah, mainly due to the improved on cheap interconnect. So yeah, we'll rely on this highly reliable because uh, all the interconnects inside the chip, the interconnection through the OR. So this is not in a board. Means whether the OR will open or OR will short or it will damage. That's not the problem because everything inside the chip. Once it's fabricated, is successful, then nothing will be problem. It will run it's, some years without any problem. So that's why it's more reliable and higher speed. Yeah, due to the less area and the small size devices, speed also higher. Okay. And the interconnection length also less, though everything inside a chip. The interconnection wire means will not connect this to that outside, so everything is internal. So that's why interconnection parasitics also less. So for that case, the internal parasitics will be less, and the internal load, that path resistance, everything will be very less. That's why we can go to higher speed. Okay. Yeah, always it's a significant cost saving. Yeah, day by day the electronics gadgets, the cost of electronic gadgets reducing with higher performance, also with higher features. Okay, so that's why due to this major advantages, IC market is growing, and it's continuously growing every year. The profit margin is growing. Okay. So now we will come to the most important rules law, that is Moore's law. So I think everyone know the Moore's law. So anyone can say the Moore's law?
Sir, Moore's law says about the number of transistors per unit area, which are placed every 2 years of the course.
Your volume, okay, every year?
Sir, every 2 years it gets doubled that the transistor
Yes,
per
every
unit
2 years
area.
the transistor count inside a chip is doubled. Okay, so this is in 1965 Moore predicted that, and actually it is happened also. Okay, so every 2 year gap, the transistor count inside a chip is doubled. That means the size of the transistor, size of the device, alternatively you can say the size of the device will be half. Are you getting or not?
Yes, sir.
Means every after 2 years, means the transistor count is double. Okay,
And the size is half, sir.
that's why you can say, means the size of the device will be half. If we'll half the size, the transistor, then within the half size we can get the same transistor, same number of transistors.
Yes.
Okay, so in next slide you can see this, is clear about this. So this is the feature size versus year. Okay, so you can see in 1978 it was 5 micron. Okay, the transistor size means length, the transistor length, gate length. Okay, it was 5 nanometer, but 5 micron, but now it is 2020. The transistor length is, what is the transistor length now? Minimum
7
feature size.
nanometer.
7 or less,
So 5 nanometer.
or Shatabdi?
Two.
2 nanometer. So yeah, just 3 days before you are there in the that
Yes, sir.
yes,
Expert talk.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly,
sir.
exactly, yeah. So then the last point I have pointed out, the most recent news, TSMC successfully implemented 2 nanometer path. Okay, the recent technology, 2 nanometer technology node. That means the minimum gate length is the 2 nanometer. Okay, so from 5 micron to, you see, it is 2 nano. So if you think about the 5 nano, is 1,000 times lesser than
Yes.
what was in the 1978. Okay, so
So here the Moore's law is uh,
yeah, somehow it is
yeah,
applicable.
somehow it is.
Yes, if you calculate, then you definitely you will get that. But here the main thing is one after one the technology is coming. Suppose, for example, suppose I am saying about 180 nanometer. Suppose we are working in our lab is 180 nanometer technology. So the next technology is 130. Okay. Next technology is 190. So what is the scaling factor? Can anyone guess? Actually, according to Moore's law, he said that the device size will be half. Getting or not? He alternatively say the transistor count will be double in the same size. That means the device size will be half. If you use the same number of transistor, then device size will be half or not?
Yes, sir.
He said in same size, the transistor count will be doubled. Alternatively, we can say if you will use the same number of transistor, then device size will be same. Device size will be half.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you agree the device size every 2 years after the device size will be half. Then what is the feature scaling from one technology to another technology? What is the scaling factor?
1 by root 2.
1 by root 2.
It should be reduced by 1 by root.
Why it is 1 by root 2? See, suppose for example, for a particular size, one transistor is used. Okay, for a particular size. After 2 years, what we will do? The size will be half, yes or not?
Yes.
But we will use the same transistor. So transistor has length and means width and length. Transistor has length and width. So if you will make 1 by root 2, then we can put that transistor in that half size. Yes or not? Because 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 is equal to half or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's why from technology to technology, the
Yes,
scaling factor is 1 by root 2. It's not half.
Sir, not got scaling factor, not got, sir.
Scaling factor means from one technology to another technology, the gate length, how in which means factor it is scaled down. Okay, suppose 180 to 130 means 180 by 130. What is the value? Or 130 by 180? It's nothing but 1 by root 2 or 0.7, you can say.
Means
If
the previous divided by the present.
No, if you multiply 180 into 0.7, what you will get?
130.
Around 130, but it's taken as a round number 130. Okay. So that's the main reason why it is 1 by root 2, not half. So generally in interview or a lot of people ask why it is 1 by root 2. First of all, they will ask what is the, from one technology to another technology, what is the scaling factor. So that time, probably if you will not calculate it, then you can say, okay, I'll check, or half, you will say like that. But actually it's 1 by root 2. Then they will ask why 1 by root 2. Okay, so you have to justify that. If 1 by root 2 will be the scaling factor, then in both length and width, then 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2, the area will be half. Okay, according to the Moore's law, so every 2 years the area will be half. Got the point? Yes or no?
Sir, yes, sir.
No, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you are getting doubt, then you can. So that's why this thing is very, very important. Just remember why it is 1 by root 2. Because 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2, it will be the half. Okay, that is the, according to Moore's law, every 2 years the area of the chip will be half. So I've written that thing also. Alternatively, the area of the chip reduced by half after every 2 years. Currently, industry is working their design on 5 nanometer, but recently we got the news it's 2 nanometer. Okay. So next thing is steady miniaturization. So this thing actually how we are getting means everything means we are scaling this device down. We are getting better performance, less power consumption. Everything is okay for us. Okay, so you can see that thing in semiconductor technology. You can see how this industry, particularly in this semiconductor industry, why growing compared to other industries. You can compare with other industries. Still, other industries are lacking, but this semiconductor is growing heavily because there is no trade-off in performance and power and price. Okay, there is no trade-off. So we are getting better performance, low power consumption, and less price. So that's why we are getting day by day this industry is growing. And as the transistor gets smaller, they also get faster. We are also getting the fastest speed. Okay, speed is also increasing. So initially, suppose now the processor came with 4.8 gigahertz or 5. Intel i9 it's coming around 5 point something. Okay, that AMD is around 3.8, then 4.8, like that. So day by day we are getting the higher clock frequency. Okay, that means speed we are getting, and less price, less power consumption. Okay, and better performance, better means features. So everything is continuously we are getting in the positive side. That's why this market is going. And the only question is how small uh, we can go. Actually, day by day, according to Moore's law, every 2 years the transistor count increases or the area decreases. But up to what extent we can go? Okay. So this is depends upon 2 points. So first of all, the power consumption. Okay. So if we argue the power consumption really decreases, but though the transistor size is very less, the leakage part is more. Means leakage power is more. Okay, and the heat also. Due to heat, the power consumption is more. So that's why originally we are getting less power consumption, but due to this leakage and heat, the power consumption is more. So one day we have to stop this thing, because we will not bear this heat and power consumption for our chip. Okay, this is one point, extreme point.
So
Second
what
point
is leakage power, sir? Leakage power?
leakage power means actually when you will study transistor. Okay, so transistor only when you will give the gate voltage. Okay, MOSFET, gate, source, drain, three terminals are there. When you will give the gate to source voltage, that time transistor should on. Okay, the current should flow from drain to source. That is the principle, the MOSFET operation. Okay, this thing you know or not? Hello.
No, sir, I don't know, sir.
Means MOSFET, get to source, if you give the get to source voltage, then if the get to source voltage is more than threshold voltage of the transistor, okay, this will on. On means the current will flow from drain to source. Okay, but due to the device size is very small, without giving any voltage, okay, without giving any gate voltage, still currents are flowing, because the drain to source separation is very less due to that horizontal field from drain to source. Okay, so I can annotate just suppose this is a transistor.
So it will start only on the threshold voltage, na? It will start on the threshold voltage. Yes.
uh, what threshold?
The
I'm not
transistor,
getting.
the transistor will start only on the threshold.
Only on the actually that is the principle.
Hmm.
Once the gate to source voltage attain threshold voltage, so it will on. Okay, then current will start to flow. But due to that small size, okay, it's not depends upon that vertical field. Actually, the transistor, once you will give the gate voltage, that means the vertical electric field will create. That's why the transistor will on. But though the transistor size is very less, and drain to source distance is less, so without giving any supply, that horizontal field also work, and some current will flow from drain to source, but that is not required. Okay, this is unintentional. Okay, so due to that, the leakage current will flow in this every transistors, and the overall power will be more. Okay, got the point at least?
So it is good for us or not?
No, it's
Leakage?
very bad. Actually, we don't want leakage power. Without giving any supply, if you'll get a circuit on, is it okay or bad? Suppose in your mobile, okay, it's in a power off mode. Okay, got the point? But still some power is burning. Then means your battery will die down.
Yeah, sir. Got it, sir.
Get the point or not?
Yeah, sir.
Yes. So that's why if will not give the supply voltage, but still the power consumption is there, it's a bad point. So that's why the leakage power is more. It will go down. the transistor size will be down, then leakage power will increase. So one time the leakage power will be very, very high. So that time will not get any advantage. So you have to stop there. And the second thing is atomic size. The atomic size, that is means lattice constant between two atoms. Suppose we are generally using silicon. So silicon, between two silicon atoms, what is the distance? It's around 0.5 nanometer. Okay. So it's now market is going on 2 nanometer. So up to 0.5 nanometer we can go, because all these fabrication things, lithography is required. Okay. So beyond that, beyond that 0.5 nanometer, lithography will not work. So fabrication will not do the fabrication. Okay. So that's why after this, the Moore's law will not work. It is predicted it will not work. Then you can do that less than that. Okay. The sizing, the scaling down will not possible after that. Okay. So these are the limiting points. These two things are limiting points. Otherwise, everything is fine. We are getting good performance, better pricing, less power consumption, higher speed. Everything is possible in the VLSI chip, and that's why market is growing, and we are getting better and better products. Okay. So next we will go for the VLSI design methods. Okay. 1 minute. Okay, just please move this window. How you move? Okay, this is the VLSI design methodology. What methods are used in VLSI chip design? Okay, so there are two methods. This is one is full custom method, another is semi-custom method. Okay, so the full custom method generally used for the analog design. Okay, so analog design and digital design is completely different. So in analog design, everything is manual. Everything manual is means you can means improve your performance by any way. Means lot of means lot of parameters are there. You can optimize that. You can get better performance, and for that it will take time. So everything you will do manually. You will a lot of times you will do the iterations. You will check, and you will change the transistor size, and you can change the different other parameters like other components like resistor, capacitor, everything you have to change. And in layout also, everything you will do the manual. It's the manual process. From top to bottom to top, everything you have to do by your hand, and you have to check whether its performance is better or worse. You will change that. So everything is manual. It's a completely analog part is the full custom. Okay, so but thing is we'll get better performance and longer design time, though it is manual. Okay, so it will take too much time, and but we will get the better performance, because ultimately our aim is that without getting better performance will not end. So we'll do that things. So that's why analog design is a full custom and it's taking time, and we'll get the better performance. But semi-custom design, that means all the digital chips is based on the semi-custom design. So here we need very less time to design. So that's why get the less performance. Okay. So because in digital design, almost a billion of the transistors are there. Okay. So if you'll start doing the manual things, then it will take too much time. So that time the market will means you can means capture the market. Okay, that is the main bigger point. It is why a semi-custom design has less performance, but because we need to complete all this design and marketing, production, everything within a shorter span of time. Okay. And that's why in digital, everything is not manual. The layout is already, the cell, means the gates are already done. It's the form of standard cells. So, and all the routings, placements, everything, verification is through tool. So we can, means we will not do by hand. So tool will do everything. Okay. Means it will invoke the transistor, means the gates, it will place, it will route, it will check the performance, everything. So it's an automatic process. So that's why it is possible to complete all the design and testing, fabrication, everything within a short span of time. But somehow means will get less performance compared to the custom or analog design. Okay. Uh, 1 minute. Meeting. Hello. Sorry, actually, one phone call. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
so
Yes, sir.
here I think you can ask something. Are you getting this point or not? What is full custom? What is semi custom?
Yes.
From this figure, whether you are getting understanding or not. So any question here?
So I have a question.
Yes, you can ask. Yes.
So you said that semi-custom is for the digital designing.
Yes.
So it doesn't give better performance. So how can we say that I don't get this? I cannot differentiate that for digital designing. Then what is better? Like if you want better performance or something.
No, whatever we are getting, we are thinking that is better. But if you do custom, then we can get better performance. But it will take too much time, because in digital, billions of transistors are there. So we can't do the manual work for all transistors. Okay, so that's why we have to compromise something, because in full custom, though we are getting too much time and manually we are doing everything, so until and unless we are getting better performance, we are doing that. So that's why in this case I am saying, in digital, though you are completing all the things in a stipulated time, so we have to lose the some performance, but definitely we can get better performance if we give time.
So it means that if we want to do something like if I want to design something, so for some moment I can check that using the digital design, and then later on using the digital design I can go for the analog design, like for full custom, something
No,
like that.
no, I didn't get actually your question.
Uh, so like if I want to design something,
Hmm.
so like if it was also earlier told to us that first we prefer digital designing because it's more convenient and it's easier, but
Hmm.
because it doesn't gives us full performance, so we can say just for the sake of to know that what kind of a result we are getting, so for that we prefer digital designing, and later on we change that to analog one.
No. Just I'm clearing that point. Actually, depends on the application. Depends upon the application. So we choose the digital design or analog design. Okay. So where the analog design, where the very high frequency modules are required. Okay, high frequency applications are required. In that case, digital design is not possible. Okay, so for that case, we are bound to go for analog design. Okay, for analog world means that is always analog. So suppose for ADC, we are designing some ADC, analog to digital converter. Okay,
So
so here both analog and digital is there. So once we'll convert this part to digital, then we will do the digital part. But initially, for the continuous signal or high frequency signal, we can't do circuit for that to process that signal directly. You can feed to the digital chip because it will not able to do that. So for analog things, high frequency thing or very low frequency analog blocks are required. Okay. For other purpose, those are means not very high frequency or some speech processing, video processing, other those things are possible, that like processors or memory. So these things are digital things. So these digital things will done in the digital design, and those who are not possible in the analog, that thing will be done by the analog design. Okay.
So full custom and semi-custom is not for what digital designing or analog. It's just a difference that in digital, like semi-custom, an example is digital designing.
Yes, actually in digital design you can do full custom, means manually you can do everything. But though it's a billion of transistors are there, billion of functionalities are there, so we can't do all these things manually within a stipulated time. So that's why we have converted to more than 80% of things done by the tools, automatically done. Though within that short span of time we will complete this work, we can create the product, we can market everything. But for analog, though it is not possible in the digital way, means automatic way, so that's why we are doing for custom design for analog. Okay. So though you are doing the custom design, that's why you will get the better performance because we have time, so we can optimize everything one by one. That is the difference actually.
So, got it. Thank you.
Okay, got the point?
So, sir,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, you said that the length between two silicon atoms are 5 nanometer.
No, not 5.5.
0.5 nanometer.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's
So, sir, so they can go up to 0.5 nanometer.
yeah,
from
not
2 to
exactly point, less than means more than that means after 1 nanometer may not be possible because if your gate length is less than 0.5, then how it electron will flow, its atom will flow. Okay, that is the okay. So that's
Okay, sir.
okay. So this is the method one method means that full custom and then semi-custom. So next thing is that another thing is that they see here another way we can discuss the design technology window one, technology window two with the current circuit performance. Okay. So this window is nothing but the one generation to another generation. Okay. Suppose we have fabricated one chip in 180 nanometer technology. So after 2 years, the technology will be changed to 130 nanometer technology. Okay. And same product, whatever designed in 180 nanometer, we can port it to 130 nanometer technology. Okay. Definitely, though the technology means transistor size is small there, so we'll get some better speed, low power consumption. Okay, better features. Got the point or not? So in this case, so every design phase, design or production or marketing should be completed within 2 years. Okay, once it is completed, then you can ready for the next generation. Okay, same thing you can put to the next generation, next technology, and again we will market. Now the new version came, the power consumption is less, then the speed is high. The same thing, but only due to the technology node less than that previous, so you will get the better price. So here, if you will use the time, so more than the technology window, then you will get the better performance. But if you will do that, then you will lose the market. Getting the point or not? So that's why within that technology window, you have to complete all these things. We have to complete the design, production, marketing, and everything. Then you will be ready for the next technology window for putting it to the lower technology. So this is the another method. Okay, that's why in industry they are trying to complete everything, design, production, marketing, everything within that 2 years. Okay, sometimes the design window also overlapping. That means the next generation work started from the previous generation time. Okay, so you can see that figure in the past technology window. You can see that the time is divided in the design and production. Okay, and you can see the performance here. This is the performance. Okay, but if you will waste lot time, so you can get this performance, the upper one, but you will lose the market. Okay, and the second window also you will get better performance because the technology size is less. Okay, technical node is less, so definitely you will get better performance in terms of power consumption and speed and better features. Okay, so these are the methodology. So first is the full custom and semi-custom. So how you will get the performance in full custom, how you will get the performance in semi-custom. And second thing is the technology within that technology window. If you will complete all this thing in a technology window, then you are in right track, and you are capturing the market. Otherwise, you will lose the market. Okay, so this is the VLSI design methods, particularly industry are opting for this. Okay, and so here any doubt? Just understand this figure and ask if you are getting any doubt.
So I have a doubt.
Hello?
So,
Yes. Just
so it is said that about circuit performance. So in the last part, the right side, it's written as missed technology window. What does that exactly mean? That technology the quality has reduced.
yes, quality. See, mixed technology window means lower performance. That means the second part means the time is used will be used for technology window 2. That means next version of the technology. Okay, but if you use that time for previous version of the technology, you will get somehow better performance than previous version, but it will be less than the technology window 2 performance. Are you getting or not?
No, sir. I
See,
didn't get the complete.
so first of all, I am saying the technology window 1. So I am discuss then if you get say yes or will. So in technology window 1, so this is divided into two things: design window, then production window. Okay, that means some time given to the design phase. Means you have to complete all the designs or testing fabrication within this time. Okay, then this production time is for the yes design, then production for the fabrication and marketing. Okay, so once you will complete the design phase, then you will go for the production, then you will market that this is our product, the advantages and the features, the power consumption, everything will market, then chip will be sold. Okay, this is the first window. But if you will use the design time more than the given time, suppose the design time will be you will consume more design time, then also you will get less production time. Yes or not? Within that window, technology window 1, so if you will use more time on the design, then definitely you will get less time for production. Once you will get less time for production, so it will extend to design window 2. The time will extend to design window 2.
Yes.
Okay, actually that time in the design window time, your next version should start, but your previous version is in production is not completed. That means in the next version, if you you means design your product next version chip, then you can get more means price, you can get more profit, or the performance will be high. But in the previous day, though the previous design is running on this Windows 2, then definitely you will lose the market. That thing I want to convey.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It means that though the performance will increase, but the market or the value in the market will decrease.
Exactly. If you will spend more time, definitely you will get the performance, but the market will lose, because people will not because your competitor, suppose other competitors are there, they will means sell their products in that time. Okay, so who will buy your product? So that's why in a particular time you have to complete all this design and products on everything. Okay, so this is the thing. So in this methodology, industry people are working, and industry also uh, sell their products, and they are getting benefits. Okay, so I think everyone got this point.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
actually, for better understanding, I'll say just for Kang, in Kang book, you have to just read the text. Okay, you will better understand. Okay.
Sir, so in which field the full custom is done?
No, here in this figure, actually, I'm talking about only the digital part, but semi-custom. Okay. So
Okay.
full custom, that is in the previous slide. It was, if you will do the full custom, then time will take, but performance will be better. Okay, it will take time. But that's why generally in digital design, nothing is full custom. Everything is semi-custom. But in the analog design, there is no automotive tool to design analog things. So that's why people are doing that thing in full custom. Okay.
So sir, in NASA or ISRO, we want a high
Hello.
performance. So sir, in that field, we can use full custom.
No, that forget that concept. Full custom is, mean, in every digital design, there is no full custom. All are semi-custom. Okay. So if the digital design comes, means it is a full custom. We can't do digital design in full custom because it will take too much time. So the thing means, suppose it will complete by 2 years. If you will do full custom, it will take 10 years. So why people will do full custom in digital to get the better performance? So whatever the performance they are getting, that is sufficient. Getting or not?
Okay.
They are thinking that this is the optimum. We will not get better than that. But if they will do full custom, they will get better performance, but it will take multiple years. Got the point?
Yes.
Who will do that? Who will take the risk for doing the full custom in digital? The product will complete in 2 years, but in full custom it will take 10 years. Then in that 10 years, 5 technology will be will come and go. So no one will take the risk to do digital things in full custom. Everything is in custom. But yes, analog, for analog there is no full semi-custom. So everything is full custom. That is, everything will be manual. Okay, that's why I'm just saying one thing. Difference between analog and digital. So 80% of the digital thing, okay, in a chip, a digital chip, the 80% of the work take 15% of time. Okay, just remember, in a digital, okay, in a complete chip, 80% of the digital work. Actually, in a complete chip, suppose in a SoC chip, means system on chip, is analog, RF, digital, everything is there. Okay, the digital part, it will take the amount of work is 80%, but it will take just 15% of time. But the 15% analog thing will take 85% of time. See the difference. in a chip, suppose it's a SoC, means all digital, analog, RF, all the blocks are there. The digital part, it is 80%. It will take 15% time to design complete. But the analog part will take 80%, 85% time. So analog is more complicated and time taking, though it is a full custom. But digital is automatic. So it will lots of work will done by few less times. Okay, this is the difference. So that's why analog people are actually generally analog people are more paid actually. Okay, in industry, and very few people are there in analog domain. But in digital, lots of micro divisions are there. Lots of people are there. Okay, in industry. In industry, 85% people are digital and 15% from analog. So that is the division. Okay. So now clear about analog and digital somehow.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So now this digital design methods are completed. Now we'll go for VLSI design flow. Okay. So generally, initially it is called Y chart. Okay, that Y chart first introduced by D. Gazaski. Okay, so it consists 3 domain of representation. Okay, all the digital chips, there are overally we divided in 3 parts. Okay, so one is behavioral domain, then structural domain, then geometrical or physical domain. Okay, that layout domain. So in behavioral domain, so the top level means suppose a chip will design. So what will be the functionalities? What is the interface? What is the other input and output devices? All these things means architect in this top level, and it's nothing but an algorithm. Okay, it's an algorithm, and everything is defined in that behavioral domain. Okay, and that algorithm will in structural domain, it is converted to the processor. Processor means in the architectural way, it's a processor or any functional module. Okay, then in physically, this processor means it's a chip. Okay, this is chip floor plan. Suppose you got the algorithm, this is the functionality, this is the input output, these components will be there. Then in functional, what will the blocks, everything you know this overall on the top level. Then you will floor plan. In physical domain, you will floor plan. Floor plan means what is the chip size. In actually die, you have to do this is the size of the chip. This side the input will be there. This side the output will be put. This is the power domain pins. This is the RF pins. So you will floor plan in the layout domain. So the next level is the finite state machine in behavioral domain. So in behavioral domain, you can say all these things in the language or models or this codings, everything in the behavioral domain. Means you can say in the top level it's algorithm. In the block level it's finite machines, means there are combinational cells and sequence cells that interconnects. Then in the next level, the module description. Suppose it's a combinational cells, it's a deep flip-flops or it's a multiplier. The module descriptions, everything will be described in the hardware description language. And then it's a Boolean algebra. In the next level, you'll do the Boolean algebra of that gates. Okay, so this is all behavioral domain. It's the corresponding structural domain is for algorithm, it is processor. For finite state machine, it is arithmetic, registers and ALU, all the functional units. It's like a circuit. Okay. And in module description, it's nothing but gates. Gates that leaf cells means the gates. In the NAND gate, NOR gate, XOR gate, or deep flip-flop, these are the gates. Okay. In the Boolean algebra, in the bottommost behavioral thing. This is the Boolean equations. So you can map to transistors in structural domain. Okay. Finally, the transistor, you will do the circuits in transistor. Okay. So similarly, in the geometrical domain, the top level is nothing but the floor plan. Means what is the chip size, what will be the pins, in which side you will place the pins. Okay, what will be the blocks, where you will put the blocks. Okay, it is suppose a square block. So suppose a PLL is there, where you will be put PLL, where you will be put ADC, where you will be put power management block, where you will be put some RF block. So all these things in the top level, floor geometrical level, that is called chip floor plan. Then module placements. Module placement means I said that all the blocks, modules, okay, that PLL or power management or RF, everything will place in the next level. And then cell placement. Cell placement means the in single cell, the gates, AND gates, NOT gates. That is not physical domain. Means the layout of the cells, how you will place that. And the next thing is the mask. Mask means these cells, how these cells will create in fabrication. For every cell, masks are there. Okay, in fabrication means unit. So every cell is designed through mask. Okay, so for every layer, for every polysilicon, whether it's polysilicon or silicon or metal or oxide, masks are there. So one by one, you have to create that layer through mask. Okay, so this is all means this is the one way of representation VLSI design. Okay, so behavioral domain to structural, structural to geometrical. So in this way, finally, we'll come to the mask. Okay, so algorithm, then processor, then chip floor plan, then finite state machine, then so we are, it's a bottom up approach from bottom to top, top to bottom. It's the top down approach from algorithm to mask. We are going in this direction. Okay, this is the very crude way to represent the VLSI design flow in earlier days. Okay. So here you are getting any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Yes, just ask.
Sir, in geometrical layout domain,
Yes.
the interconnects or the cells which we are placing, we are specifying them as with coordinates like what is the origin and where it is ending. So, sir, we are representing them as polygons. So, these cell placement and this cell placement will be represented as polygons, right?
No, it is actually automatically tool will do that, but this phase is nothing but this means this flow is nothing but the module placement. Module placement means the placement and routing, as you have to study in the digital PNR tool, that is. So in module placement or cell placement, in this two, the tool will do the block placements inside the block, the cell placements. Tool will do that thing and routing also. Tool will do. So this is the phase-wise things. So initially the floor plan, then module placement, then inside the module the cell placement, then cells are created through mask. So these are the phase. Actually, if you go through the design flow, it's more detail. You can see in the back end, front end, everything is there. But this is the very crude way to show the design flow. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Sir,
generally,
it is too abstract. Like in cell placement and model placement, we are getting all the process routing and code and placement.
can you say again?
Sir, the layers which are presented here, these are too abstract. Like in between that, we are getting routing, placement, and other processes.
Yes.
Flow.
Yes. This is all about that. Yes, you're correct. Okay. So this is thing you can study this from book. So next thing is the VLSI digital design flow. So this is the very basic flow. Actually, if you go through the design flow, it's a really complex. Some front end part is there, a lot of distribution again in the front end and back end. Front end means all the circuits and the coding part is the front end. Back end it is the design part, means layout design, their verification, everything in the back end part. Okay. So here, in the design flow, first thing is the system specification. Okay, if you are going to design a chip, what are the specs? Okay, from which depends upon that spec, you will design a VLSI chip. Okay, so this system specification comes from a marketing or manager person. So they will give this is the market demand, this is the this should be the speed, this should be the power consumption, all these specs they will give to you. So next thing is a functional design. Here the functional design means all the things that the behavioral coding, hardware description language you will written, this specs you will written in the hardware description language. Okay, so you will check that, will functional checking, will verify whether it's working or not. Okay, whatever specs they have given, is it feasible or not? Okay, so it's iteration process. So if it is working, then it's fine. Otherwise, you will again go to that specsman, will say that change that it is not possible, like that. So this is purely functional. You will do the codes, everything. So next is once it is okay, then you will synthesize. Synthesize means you will generate the logic gates from that code. Netlist means you will get the circuits from that language, means that description language, hardware description language are very long. So you will get the circuit. Okay. So here again you will create the netlist of that circuit. You will check, will verify, is it okay or not? Okay, what are the specification they have given, it is okay or not? So here in the logic design means it's a gate level design. That means suppose a circuit is given, that you will do that circuit in the form of gates, not gate and gate XOR and XNOR. Using that gate, you will make a circuit, complex circuit. Okay, this is the gate level representation. Then once it is completed, then we will go for circuit design. Yeah, it's like a block level. Okay, once gate level is completed, means you will do the block level design. Okay, using that gates, you will do a more bigger blocks, like suppose a multiplier. Multiplier nothing but a chain of adders. Okay, so it's a full adder. Then full adder nothing but the sum and carry. Okay, then sum and carry is nothing but a XOR gate, AND gate, OR gate, like that. So this is the circuit is think about it as a multiplier. Okay, so this is circuit level. You will verify that whether its output is okay or not according to the specs. Then once this part is covered, then we'll go for layout design. Okay, so this is called physical design. Then you will do the physical verification. In physical design means, so you will design means you will instantiate these gates. Actually, all the gates, the layout of all the gates are available in that library. So here, though it's semi-custom, why I'm till now we have discussed about semi-custom. What is semi-custom? You will not do manually from the transistor. Means all the gates in the layout from is available in a library. So the tool will use that means gates will make the circuits. Okay, whatever circuit you have designed, so that thing will tool will do, will place that gates and make that circuit. For example, multiplier. Okay, in the layout domain, it will create and it will route the. Also, it will route from one gate to another gate, input, output. So from power, everything it will place, it will and route. So after that, you will do the verification, physical verification. Verification means certain rules are there. In layout, you will suppose place side by side the standard cells and transistors, everything. So whether it is feasible for fabrication or not, some rules are there. Actually the means vendor provide that rules. So you have to follow the certain rules, then you will design that. So one that, and then LVS. LVS means that circuit and the layout part is okay or not, both are matching or not. So these thing in the physical verification, you will check that. Once it's completed, you will send, one thing is there, you will create the GDS view. Okay, you will send for fabrication. Okay, you will set for fabrication, to take some time to fabricate. So after that, the chip will come back to your place, you will test. Okay, so this is the very simple design flow. Okay, so once you will understand this thing, how it is going, one stage after one stage. So then we can discuss in more detail. In some later classes, we'll discuss in more detail what is the elaborate way, means what is the other things are in this process. Suppose in functional design, what are the other things? And the logic, what are the other things? In physical domain, what are the other things are there? Okay, so more detail we can discuss. So next thing is the last part, the hierarchy, regularity, modularity. Okay, is there any doubt in this VLSI design flow? At least you are getting or not?
Yes, sir.
Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how it is from behavioral to then functional to then circuit to physical. Okay, finally is fabrication testing. Okay, so this is very simple way to define the VLSI design flow. More complex is there. Definitely we'll discuss that thing. And you can discuss it Prachita and Satabd also. And finally, this is hierarchy, regularity, modularity, and locality. Okay. So hierarchy is nothing but the divide and conquer technique. Means, for example, in an example, I'll give what is hierarchy. Okay. So the next, so this is suppose a multiplier. Okay. This add 4 is a multiplier or 4-bit adder. Okay, this is a 4-bit adder. So I will make simple by doing the hierarchy. Okay, hierarchy is nothing but to do the hierarchical way. That means it is very easy for the design. Okay, so that 4-bit adder we can break down into 4 adders. Okay, all are similar. Okay, so once you will make one adder, you can copy same thing with other adders. Okay, so you have to do only one adder. So you don't need to do 4 adders. You have to make one adder. Okay, once it will completed means you can copy. Okay, this is the hierarchy. Then again inside the adder, one carry and sum. Okay, so once you will make carry or sum means it will copy in other 3. Okay, and finally is the and or etc. So this is the hierarchy. Means always if you will means follow the hierarchical method, then it will be very easy for the design. So no need to do the full chip in one shot. So you will do the minimum, the bottom level things, and these bottom level things you will use in everywhere. Okay, once you will make one and one or XOR, then you can make a carry. Once carry will done means another 4 carry easily you can get. Similarly, sum. One sum you can done means another 4 you can get. Similarly, one sum carry done means one full adder circuit. We can get a full adder circuit. For another 3, you can just replace, copy and paste that thing. So in this way, you can finally within a less time and less work, you can complete a 4-bit adder. Okay, this is the hierarchical method. In design, means in VLSI design, any analog design also hierarchical method is very important. In digital design, mostly in the digital design, it's very important. Okay, because this bottom level things are there in the library. So you use to make a simple block, and all the simple blocks is regular, means similar type of blocks you can use for this. Okay. So next thing is regularity. Regularity means the regular type of, means similar type of things. Means in this hierarchy, suppose you have done one order, means you can copy paste that thing in the place of other orders. So this is nothing but the regularity. Okay. So the hierarchical decomposition of a large system should result in not only simple but also similar blocks. Okay, so this is the regularity. If you'll do the follow the hierarchical method, the similar blocks will not do lot of means for similar blocks you will do once, and it is simple also. Okay. And the modularity is the same way, means modular way, the various of functional blocks. So we will do in modular basis. Suppose lot of functional blocks are there. Okay, so its functionality and interfaces already defined. So without any means it is independent. So without any other blocks function, we can do independently. And suppose different person can do independently. They will not ask anything the other person, what is your blocks is working, what is interdependent, but it is, though it is independent and it's modular basis, so you can do your things, and you can after the completion of your blocks, you can put all can put to their blocks and integrate. Okay, finally it will be achieved. So this modular basis also, modular flow also important in the digital design. Okay. And then locality means inside the module. Okay, inside the module, all the connections, it's local to that module. Okay, it will not affect other modules. Okay, and the local connections, so between the one module to another modules also not affect to other modules. And it is also important because it is depend finally the timing part depends upon the connectivity. So though it is local and means one module is connected to another module and side by side, the connectivity and the wires are less, and that's why the timing part is also less. Okay, so these are the regularity, modularity, and locality. These are very simple things. You can go again through the books, you can understand. It's not a big deal. Okay, so in that hierarchy, regularity, modularity, and locality, just it's a text. Just one time you read, you can understand easily. Okay. So this is the hierarchical design example, and the regularity. Regularity means the same type of thing. See here, all the these two designs are there, but the similar thing is the inverter or tri-state buffer. So one inverter you have done means you can use in the deep flip-flops, whatever inverters are used. One tri-state buffer you have designed means you can use anywhere where the tri-state buffers are used. Okay, so these are the regular things. Okay, you will not spend time to design all these things. Okay, so this is all about today's class. Okay. Okay, so next time we will go fabrication of the MOSFETs. So today, means this class, anyone have any problem or any means if you have any doubt, so you can discuss. You can ask.
So if you
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, that regularity part. So, sir, the regularity part, we will check that in every module, as well as can we check it for the each standard cell also, like for each transistor also. Regularity is it possible for
not
cell?
yeah, not in transistors, not in the gate level. Actually, regularity means suppose a lot of circuits are there. Similar type of things are used. So for example, a NAND gate, inverter. It is used in the MOX, it is used in the flip-flop, it is used in multiplier. So once that part is ready means you need not worry. Okay, this is regular for all blocks. Okay, similarly, suppose in case of D flip-flop, a lot of cases your counter, register, everywhere D flip-flops are used. The same type of D flip-flop used means once you have done with the D flip-flop, then it is okay. So that is the regularity. Means same type
So
of
for the
thing.
gate level implementation.
Yes, gate level means same type of things
Okay.
used in everywhere. Okay. If the drive strength is same, for other drive strength means it is different, but same drive strength, same type of gate level things means it is used everywhere. Then your job is less. So you will not worry about that. It's inverter means it's inverter. So already is there, it will use here, there. Okay. So regular. And next thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So if you have any books, so you can share with us. You
Okay.
know.
Yes, you have a Kang book or not?
No, sir.
Okay, then I'll share Kang book and Rabe book. I'll share.
Okay.
Okay, just download that and keep it. And, any doubt? Others?
No, sir.
So thanks. So, so am I able to make you understand or not, or I have to improve some?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it okay?
Sir, very well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Actually,
sir.
I'm okay, just to